In the mid-1980s, Los Angeles experienced what many would call months of absolute terror. Fear no longer had a schedule. Darkness was no longer just the absence of light, it was a warning. Somewhere in the city, while everyone slept, someone was watching. Someone who followed no rules, who had no pattern. He entered homes silently, like a living shadow, and when he left only the echo of screams and the trail of evil. He attacked at any hour, in any neighborhood. Men, women, children, the elderly. No one was safe. The terror was random, unpredictable, without logic, and that was what made it even more terrifying. Some victims were brutally murdered, others were tortured, and some were left alive only to carry the trauma as an eternal scar. It was as if the killer wasn't just trying to kill, but to feed on the fear he left behind. The police were lost. Nothing made sense, until they began to notice a sinister pattern at the crime scenes. Messages written in blood, satanic symbols drawn on the walls, and one phrase, repeated over and over, "I love Satan." The killer didn't just kill, he performed a ritual, and his worship was devoted to darkness itself. For over a year, he became a ghost among millions of people. He changed his hair, his clothes, his appearance. He came and went without leaving a trace. The police called him the Night Stalker, the butcher of the night. And the more they tried to catch him, the more he seemed to play with everyone, until one night, something changed. A woman survived, injured, bleeding, but alive. And she remembered the look, the face, and something simple, but decisive, the shoes he was wearing. Based on her testimony, the police created a composite sketch. And finally, Los Angeles saw the face of the man who terrorized the city. Richard Ramirez, a name no one would forget. But Ramirez didn't know the net was closing. In late August 1985, under the scorching California sun, he walked calmly through a Latino neighborhood in Los Angeles until something happened. One man recognized him, then another, and another. Within minutes, a crowd began to chase him. The terror he had spread for over a year turned against him with fury. Ramirez was beaten by the very people he had terrorized. When the police arrived, he was unrecognizable. The hunter had become the prey. At trial, he seemed indifferent. He smiled, he drew pentagrams on his palm, and before the cameras, he raised his arm and declared, "Hail Satan." There was no remorse, nor guilt, only darkness. In 1989, Richard Ramirez was sentenced to death. There were 14 confirmed murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 rapes, and countless robberies and assaults, but the death penalty was never carried out. Ramirez died in 2013 at the age of 53, a victim of cancer inside a cell, alone, never showing a single sign of remorse. Today, decades later, the name Richard Ramirez still echoes as a synonym for terror, a reminder that evil does not always have a monstrous form. Sometimes it wears a human face. It walks among us, it smiles, and it watches silently. Because true horror is not what lives in the shadows. It is what hides behind a common gaze.